All right. Forge gang! I'm still a hard man. Let's go! So, I want to talk about, hypothetically, if I were elected the President of the United States. Because, why not? And you know what? If you're listening to this, think about it yourself. Wouldn't you want to do something good for the public good? Wouldn't you want to do something that is actually right in the eyes of God? And something that is good in the minds of the people, to actually give back to the poor, to the homeless, and to the needy, and actually give a damn about the poor and the needy. Yeah, I would raise taxes on the rich. Some, not all, because if you tax the rich too much, they'll probably just leave the United States and they won't invest in the stock exchange and stuff, and the economy will go under. And nobody's going to benefit from that. But I have studied enough of economics. I have studied enough economics and whatnot. And, if I were to be President of the United States, which will never happen, it's never going to happen, of course. I don't have the campaign funding. I don't have the trail funding to do it. I don't even have a platform to campaign on. Plus, the election is over with. So this is just a complete hypothetical. It's a hypothetical mindset. But if I were president, I would ban all the Freemasonic lodges, and I would also prohibit organized religion, because all that organized religion and organized religious institutions is the opium of the masses. I would close down every single Freemasonic lodge, and I would shut down all the horror houses and all of the lobbies. It would be the end of AIPAC. The Zionist AIPAC lobby is gone. There will be no more Israeli lobbies, and there will be no more British lobbies in the United States or in Texas. No more will there be any more money funded to Israel until they reconcile with the Palestinians. Until the State of Israel recognizes the autonomy of Palestine and Arab Christians and Muslims in their state and give them full equal citizenship to Israelis, I will shut down AIPAC for good. And even then, if they do recognize all that stuff, I will still not funnel money to Israel or to Ukraine. There will be no more wars for the interests of legacy money of the British Empire and the Anglo-American establishment. I will make sure to that. I will make absolutely for certain that every single Freemasonic lodge, organized religious institution that is pro-establishment, and any sort of Protestant church that is under the organization of British money, because most of the Protestant churches in the United States are funneled and funded by the British and Anglo-American establishment, and they're going to get closed down. All the horror houses and all the horror houses are going to go. all of the, what is it? All the gambling stuff is going to go. Las Vegas will no longer make money. Okay? But I will keep the lottery. But you will have to make, you cannot already be rich or wealthy or have equitable income and be able to play the lottery. The lottery will only be for the poor and for the homeless and for people that need it. But I'm shutting down every Freemasonic lodge in the United States, and I'm shutting down every organized religious institution, and I am funneling that to private charities to pay for the homeless, for the needy, for the sick, and for those that actually need money. There are so many homeless people in San Francisco and Las Vegas, and they need affordable housing. They need affordable, national, free, affordable health care. There needs to be universal income of at least $25 or $20 an hour. And I will invest in infrastructure projects, and I am going to fix the roads and the bridges, and I am going to fix the infrastructure. I am also going to invite some refugees in, providing that they meet certain requirements and they're not just pouring drugs into the United States. But other than that, I'm letting refugees into the United States, and I am giving them housing, and I am giving them residency permits, and they are going to go on the road to becoming American citizens. But no more will there be needy, homeless people. If it is necessary, I will invest in nuclear fission projects to help generate electricity for the masses. And I am going to create affordable health care and affordable universal income for everyone. I am going to invest the government's money into NASA space projects to go to the asteroid belt to find and mine gold, silver, and copper deposits on asteroids. And I am going to invest in a program to where it will be possible to go to the Arctic and to Antarctica and to drill oil and gas under the Antarctic and the Arctic shells and the frozen shells, because there is enough natural gas for everyone to use to drive. Okay, forget that bullshit about, that cope bullshit about environmentalism. But I will assure you that I will take care of nature, and I will preserve natural and historical monuments. I'm not talking about Confederate monuments, fuck that. But I am going to preserve wildlife and natural preserves. But I will build drilling projects in the Arctic and Antarctica, and I am going to start up the mining of rare metals once again. Rare earth metals and industrialization projects are going to come back. The environment be damned. All that environmental stuff is bullshit. That's just bullshit from the woke left. It's just bullshit from the regressive left and the regressive cultural Marxist Frankfurt School establishment. So fuck that. I am going to bring back the mining of rare metals, rare earth metals, and I am going to create new factories to produce automobile plants so every American can have an automobile. And I am going to literally do that. I am going to shut down the British Embassy in Washington. I am going to shut down the British Embassy because the Confederates were British paid agents. The Confederate States was funded and was utilized and given paddle wheel steamships by Britain. A lot of the Confederate liners, the Confederate battleships, were produced in Liverpool and Glasgow and in Scottish and English ports. A lot of Confederate piracy ships and privateering ships were built in England, and they were used to fight the Union in the Civil War. That's why. I am going to destroy the legacy of the British Empire. I will do what Roosevelt said in 1942 that he was going to do. Destroy the British Empire, destroy international Anglo-American intel, and Zionist-guided intel. There is no need to have these elitist mystery schools. The Ivy League is gone too. I'm getting rid of elitist colleges and universities, and I am making college education free. I am going to make stringent school reform and stringent college and university reform, and I'm going to create public universities and public colleges where people can have access without having to get student loan debt. I will do that. But I am shutting down every single Freemasonic lodge, every single Hermeticist mystery school of the elites. I am shutting down every Luciferian institution and every single British Imperial-funded Luciferian institution in this country. Well, anyways, that's what I would do if I was elected President of the United States. I would ban secret societies. There will be no more Illuminati and no more secret societies. I am going to invest. It will take time, and it'll probably be after both of my terms in office, but I'm going to invest in space projects to go find asteroids with gold, silver, and rich metal deposits, and I'm going to find a way to get that stuff back to Earth, and I'm going to give the money and investments from that to the poor and to the needy and homeless. There is absolutely no excuse to say that you cannot feed the poor. Jesus said that he is the truth, the way, and the life, and he gave to the poor. Jesus said, "Sell everything you have, except the robes on your back, and give it to the poor. Feed the poor and feed the needy and the disadvantaged on your back, and give it to the poor." That's what Jesus Christ said. I'm going to plan well in advance how I'm going to do this, but I am going to work for the general public good of people. Who made this? Y'all need to chill. But yeah, I am giving money to the people. I am going to invest and give money to the people that need it. And I am going to fight the system of the devil. I am going to fight this Luciferian, satanic system that is in control of this world. Of course, I am not Jesus. I can't. Okay, that's the Church of Latter-day Saints. Never mind. Let's see here. Here we go.
What did Jesus say about the poor? Jesus preached good news to the poor. He told a rich man to sell everything and give it to the poor, that we always have the poor, but not him. The poor are blessed because the kingdom of heaven is theirs. Giving to the poor cleans us on the inside, providing us treasures in heaven. We should invite the poor to our parties. And the poor can be more generous than the rich. Is our version of Christianity just warming a pew and praying for a blessing? Or is it being good news to the poor?
Yeah, that's the real Christianity. Did you know that Jesus Christ was a revolutionary? Did you know that Jesus was put to death because he was a revolutionary and he wanted to fight for the poor and for the needy? He came to bring upright to the poor. Okay, that's Jesus Christ right there. Okay, let me make sure this is not Mormon. Okay. By the way, if this was produced by the Mormon Church, I can't tell. I have no idea. But this is the Beatitudes.
Matthew. Matthew. Bye-bye. I've got it. The opening? Yes. What is it? A map. A what? Directions. Where people should look to find me. Okay. Give me a moment. I'm ready.
Chris Chan is not God. Chris Chan is a weird, cringe weirdo that's a complete and absolute sped. He's not God.
Have I? Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven.
Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven.
Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted.
Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted.
Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth.
Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth.
Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness,
For blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for theirs shall be the kingdom of God.
they shall be satisfied.
Well, they shall be satisfied.
Blessed are the merciful, for they shall receive mercy.
Blessed are the merciful, for they shall receive mercy.
Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God.
Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God.
Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God.
Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the sons of God.
Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven.
Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs shall be the kingdom of heaven.
Blessed are you when others revile you and persecute you and utter all kinds of evil against you falsely on my account. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward will be great in heaven. Yes. But how is it the map? If someone wants to find me, those are the groups they should look for. And then? You are the salt of the earth.
Okay, I don't know if that's Mormon propaganda. Yeah, we don't do Mormonism around here. That's Saint Shagster that does that. I don't. But regardless, Mark chapter 12, verse 28, and chapter 34, verse 28. So it's in the book of Mark. the Gospel according to St. Mark. So yeah, Jesus says that the first will be last and the last will be first. Jesus said the first will be last and the last will be first. And I'm not one of these Christians. I'm not one of these Christians that works out and shows half of his naked body in front of people. Yeah, I don't do that. And I don't have a problem with homosexuals, but I don't produce pornography. Pornography is satanic. All forms of pornography is evil, and it's a drug. Pornography is just a drug. It's another drug that you can be addicted to for life. But yeah, the first shall be last, and the last shall be first. I don't care if I die. I don't care if I die fighting for a good cause. See here, Matthew 20:16. It's saying up here Matthew 19:30. Okay, so it's in Matthew 20:16. Matthew 20:16. So the last shall be first, and the first last. For many are called, but few are chosen. Many are called, but only few are chosen. Okay. Rick Perry makes his own home pornography, Chauncey Fatsack. But yeah, if I'm going to be president, I'm running on a platform like Lyndon LaRouche. I don't give a shit. I will do it. I am the sort of person that will just do it. I will literally go and I will literally say it. I will tackle it to the very end. No matter what it takes, there needs to be changes. If you think that there is something fundamentally wrong with society and you're not going to do nothing about it, say nothing about it, or do nothing about it, what kind of a person does that make you? A very dishonest individual. You can change things and you can make things better for everybody.
Mondale is not simply a KGB agent in the ordinary sense, of course. Mondale is jointly owned by the left wing of the Socialist International and the grain cartel interests. If both these owners tell Mondale to lick the floor before a nationwide TV audience, I sincerely believe he would do just that.
Watch Lyndon LaRouche, independent Democrat for president.
You know, I wouldn't vote Democrat these days, but like, if I lived in the 80s, I'm voting for Lyndon LaRouche. I'm voting for LaRouche. This is Lyndon LaRouche, questions about Haiti. I guess this is in 94.
Los países pequeños. Quisiera una opinión sobre lo que está ocurriendo en el Caribe cuando han transcurrido casi 3 meses en las elecciones dominicanas y cuando menos el gobierno de Estados Unidos o una parte de este gobierno ha tratado de socavar la soberanía nacional de la República Dominicana y tratando de imponer un candidato. Se invadió Haití y después se invadió la República Dominicana.
Now, what is your position in all of this? First of all, we have two positions. I don't have simple positions, as you know. That a lot of this aspect of the thing stinks. I'm very much a friend, of course, of the Dominican Republic and its sovereignty, and I'm very unhappy about what's happened down there recently. Objectively, in dealing with the thing, one has to recognize that the Clinton administration is a mosaic of conflicting elements and besieged by a cancer which is left over from the Bush administration in particular. And therefore, and because of the style manner in which the administration tries to cope with its difference between possibility and policy, is I think the way they would describe it, that they often sacrifice things that they would not agree with but go along with something because they believe that the possibilities are limited, and therefore they will sacrifice even things they think are doing things that even they think are wrong in order for purposes of political expediency. The problem here should be addressed practically, I believe, by recognizing the need to build up institutions of power, of our power and influence in the world on a number of these policies, including the Cairo Conference issue. The necessary thing is to develop momentum for contrary policies to those of Kissinger, Bush, and London. And if we do enough of that, we will find that the possibilities perceived by this administration will be altered accordingly, as the Pope has, I think, and we have demonstrated in respect to the Cairo Conference. I think that this past early spring, when the Cairo Conference project began to come foremost, I think that the administration would not have given a rat's chance for anyone defeating the Cairo Conference. But as of this point, I'm sure the administration realizes that the Cairo Conference is in great jeopardy. Therefore, those of us who have participated in contributing to bring about this, at least relative defeat for the Cairo Conference, have altered the perception of possibilities around the Washington administration. And the extension of that process as it affects the events in Dominican Republic is the relevant practical question to be posed in complaining about recent developments there.
Okay, that's the end of the video. So yeah, I think it's important to take interests for the public good. And I do believe that. I do believe that you should do things for the public good and for the embetterment of all. Not just for a small few people, but for everybody. Everyone should have an equal opportunity and an equal chance in a meritocratic manner to have an equal ability to achieve and to cultivate their talent. And one of the best ways to do that is to promote classical music in school for children and to get kids early on hooked on classic music, because that will stimulate their brains and that will encourage them to look for more creative things, to find more creative stuff, and that will produce people with a mindset listening to classical music and reading poetry and reading the classics and reading the Bible and stuff. That is what will produce a new generation of people and getting them fit, teaching them to eat healthy and to exercise and work out, closing down and getting rid of fast food restaurants which only cater to the interest of Wall Street and London to make the population unhealthy so that they cannot rebel or they will be too stupid to question what's actually going on with concerns for the Federal Reserve and for these wars in the interest of wars for the State of Israel and for the legacy of the British Empire and the Anglo-American establishment. But getting people to inspire them to invent things and to do things and to train and educate a new generation who can actually invent and create ways and means to go to asteroids to get, or to other planets to get rare metals on those asteroids or on those planets or moons, and to bring it back to Earth to help deal with issues in society, to help alleviate poverty. Jesus Christ was fighting poverty in the 1st century AD. But Jesus Christ did not have the advanced technology. He did not have the technology, the science, or anything to deal with increasing the yield output of food. Most people were subsistence farmers or slaves. But even at that extreme, Jesus still spoke the Beatitudes and talked about advocating for feeding the poor and giving to the needy, and blessing those that were persecuted for righteousness' sake. Here we are in the 21st century. We have space technology. Elon Musk has SpaceX rockets that can go to asteroids that can bring back gold, mining deposits, rare metal deposits back to Earth, and it could be used to funnel into private charities to feed the poor. to give affordable housing to people that need it, to help people to get out of loan debt, to help to give freer education to people that otherwise couldn't afford it, to feed those that are starving, to help teach people to read and write, to help curb illiteracy and poverty and illness and sickness. Why is it, with all this science and all this tech and all this government bureaucratic administration, is it that these people are far less effective than Jesus Christ actually is? Why is that? There's no getting around it. There needs to be stuff done for the public good. The civic public good is the natural thing that should be done. The masses need to be taken care of, and that is exactly what should be done. Not this bullshit woke nonsense, okay? We need to balance the budget. We need to fix the debt ceiling. This government is $34 trillion in debt, and it's going up, okay? We are supposedly the wealthiest country in the world. We're $34 trillion, $36 trillion in debt. That needs to be fixed, and that needs to be taken care of at the soonest given opportunity. Not later, sooner. Not later, now. It needs to be done now. We don't need to go to an asteroid to get gold and silver, bring it back to Earth, use that money to be put into a charity to feed the starving and poor in Africa or in the Middle East. That doesn't need to be done in 20 years. It needs to be done now. That kind of stuff needs to be done right now. You know, I don't hate Jesus. I love Jesus Christ. I love everything that Jesus said. But organized religion is bullshit. Organized religion is a lie that tyrannizes and oppresses the masses. It just tyrannizes, oppresses, and puts down the masses so that they don't question what's really going on in the world. Okay? Superstition and illiteracy stupefies and lowers down the quotient intelligence of the people and turns them into low-wage slaves. It turns the ordinary meek people into wage slaves. That is the new slavery, is wage. It's called low-wage police state. Present convict labor is just as much like antebellum slavery. Low-wage cuts is every bit like slavery. That is the new slavery. And do not forget that Hillary Clinton, who is the head of the State Department, allowed for human trafficking and slavery to be brought back into Libya. The federal government, in the Benghazi affair, allowed the return of slavery back into Libya after Gaddafi was overthrown. That is a fact. Okay? There should be no more wars for the interests of capital high finance that is built upon the legacy Anglo-American establishment. Colin C. Quigley wrote an incredible book. It is called Anglo-American Establishment. You need to read it. What was his name? But yeah, there needs to be things to actually do to benefit the public good of the world. Not just in the United States, but in the world. There needs to be stuff done to fight the drug cartel interests. These people are the ones that should be put into prison. It is the drug cartel interests that should be dealt with. They have tyrannized and oppressed the Mexican and Latino populations, and they have engaged in human trafficking and sexual exploitation of women and children. And those people are controlled by Freemasons. Freemasons are the ones that are behind all of this stuff, and so are the secret societies. The Ford Foundation, the Rockefeller Foundation, the Rockefeller Institute, the Federal Reserve, and the Freemasonic lodges, the military-industrial complex under the Pentagon, which completely kowtows to the interests of Washington, Wall Street, and London. London is the one that runs the global system. It is centered in London. It is centered under Anglo Intel. The KGB and the CIA were both controlled by MI6, by Anglo Intelligence Networks. This is a fact. It was the British that started the first drug monopolies in China. In Qing Dynasty China in the 19th century, the British fought 2 opium wars, not to get rid of drugs in China or to alleviate the Chinese starving masses, but to encourage a monopoly of opium and running opium smuggling into China to utilize as a monopolistic capital cartel interest. There needs to be anti-monopolistic endeavors to try to get rid of these monopolies and these cartel interests. Another thing, too, why should we adhere to legacy capital interest value revenue? China is building the road initiative, the crossroad initiative, the road and belt initiative. The BRICS together have a higher GDP than G7 or J7 countries do. They are going to be the future of global interest and global trade, and they are free of the IMF. They are free of the Bretton Woods imperialist doctrines, and they are going to be the future. China has done a great deal of bringing its masses out of poverty. They have lifted their masses out of poverty. They are building the Road and Belt Initiative. They are building the new Silk Road, and that is the future. Brazil and South Africa and even India know that that is going to be the future. And America is going to rot in this legacy capital venture avenue interest bullshit of central cartel banking, of the legacy of the Anglo-American establishment. Anthony Sutton broke it down in his books. But yeah, and you see right here, this guy is talking about the defense of capitalism. This Jair Gonzalez guy, you see he is actually defending the legacy of imperialism in my channel right now. He's actually promoting an institution that made money off of slavery. And he is promoting the interests of legacy business establishments that made money and interest out of the selling of human chattel slavery and the transatlantic slave trade. So I just wanted to point that out. But anyways, yeah, fuck these higher academia institutions, they're bullshit. This whole transgender woke nonsense is not going to feed the starving masses. It's not going to alleviate the interests of the poor, and it's not going to fix the problems of infrastructure. Serious, real commitment of actually trying to fix the infrastructure, of trying to alleviate the poor and the starving masses, and actually trying to engage in civics works programs like FDR is what's going to fix the problem. Now, I wouldn't exactly necessarily do what FDR did because that was in a different age. We didn't have computers, internet, high-tech technology and stuff. It was more of an high-end industrial economic system that FDR was working with. This is a different thing now. Most of the economy is in services industries, or services-related industries. But yes, I question traditional authority. I question the traditions of these institutions. I question them all. I put Rick Perry on trial. Rick Perry is on trial. Jeem is on trial. And I question the validity of anything that you people have to say whatsoever. Has anything other than to spread tyranny, superstitious, mindless superstitions onto the masses. Has an excuse to not really engage with actual problems and engage with actual things that need to be done to solve the issues of this world. That is a satanic thing to do. That is a Luciferian, vile, evil thing to do. To not confront real issues and real questions. Instead, Rick Perry is going to talk about some bland little medieval philosophy about the Flarum Femorum, the Flivum Flamarum, or some shit like that, from 700 years ago that nobody cares about. And he's going to make home pornography. Oh, Rick Perry, if you are a man of God, Rick Perry, if you are a man of Jesus Christ, if you are truly a man of the cloth, why are you not giving your money to the poor? You say that you have a cabinet full of canned food stored up in your apartment. Why are you not giving that to the poor and to those that actually need it? What sort of a Christian man does not feed the poor and the homeless or the sick or the people that need it? Where are you at a charity organization? You're not at a private charity fundraising organization. You're in the Knights of Columbus and you're organizing with some kind of woke LGBT bullshit. Motherfucker, that's what you're doing. You're at home making homemade pornography and you're making money selling yourself off on the street. And you spend that money on Harvey Davidson motorcycles. You're not giving that to people that actually need that. There's probably some people in your hometown that are starving, that are homeless on the street, and probably are sick. And you're not doing a thing. You're not doing a single thing for that. That's all you are, Rick Perry. You're going to talk and you're going to write on your Instagram about the Flavum Femorum, the Fluvum Flamarum stuff. Okay, nobody talks about that anymore. Medieval scholars don't even talk about the chain of being anymore. Okay, Galileo proved that the earth rotates around the sun. Okay, Charles Darwin proved about evolution by means of natural selection. That doesn't mean that you should stop reading the Bible or give up on God. That just means that you should be rational and think deeper about things. I know that a lot of people don't have the time to do that, but what would you rather have? Would you rather have a fat, pompous pope that claims that he is the vicar of Christ and does absolutely nothing to deal with the Mexican drug cartels and human trafficking in that country? Or are you going to have a rational person that actually gives a damn to fix the infrastructure and to actually give affordable housing and free universal health care and universal high income? Think about that. That right there destroys you, Rick Perry. You are a very insecure person, okay? And another thing too, Rick Perry, you're not a eunuch. Okay, you know what a eunuch is? You actually know what a eunuch is? A eunuch is someone that's been castrated, okay? A eunuch is a person that has no sexual arousalment whatsoever, okay? If you were born a eunuch and you grow up and spend your life as a eunuch, you get no sexual arousal or any kind of sexual pleasure. But you know something, Rick Perry? You do get sexual pleasure, and you enjoy it. Okay, you have talked about your life as being a gigolo, okay? Making money off of single moms that probably have a very basic income, and you take advantage of those women. Just like you take advantage of rich, wealthy, woke men to have sex with you. And you do virtually nothing to alleviate the poor, hungry, homeless gay people in your neighborhood. You're not a representation of the gay community. What are you doing to actually engage with and actually help to alleviate the social justice issues within your society towards gay people, towards poor, homeless gay people? Nothing. You're a Knight of Columbus, or a Knight of St. Columba, as it is known in the UK. So in other words, nothing. You're making money you're buying Harvey Davidson motorcycles. and you're basically just making a bunch of money and stuff and fixing your plumbing, while there are poor homeless gay people probably in your town that are starving and literally probably have mental health issues and have no way to really get employed or get paid. That's what you are. That's what you are, dude. You are a liar. And just like every single one of you, just like that Doria the doll, and just like that Rena Love, you are doing absolutely nothing to truly represent or to truly alleviate the social and societal and systemic issues within the homosexual or the gay community. You are just rich kids, basically. Well, perhaps you're not Rick Perry, but you are waiting for an inheritance. And I guarantee you that that inheritance is not going to the poor and to the needy in the UK. I guarantee you that. No, he'll probably buy a title of nobility. He'll probably just buy some land and get a title of nobility and get into the peerage of Parliament. That's probably what he'll do with that money. Yeah, what kind of a person does that? You know, I have looked at Doria the doll and Rena Love, and they don't talk about serious issues that deal with, like, the AIDS epidemic, or real pressing matters and issues in society that afflicts gay people or homosexuals. You know what they do instead? They talk about how they had to eat a McDouble burger, a McDouble Whopper, because they couldn't make it through No Meat Friday. Doria the doll was complaining on her Twitter or X, her X.com, that they couldn't make it through No Meat Friday, so they had to eat a double Whopper. Okay, what does that have anything to do with Catholicism? What does eating a double Whopper have anything to do with trying to improve and upright the wrongs in the gay community? You know, dude, you need to chill the fuck out, Gonzalez. You're full of lies. You're not going to college, bro. You're gonna end up as an IHOP with a bachelor's degree. When you get out of college, you're going to be full of student loan debt, and you're going to go to work at IHOP or McDonald's. You're going to be a postgraduate McDonald's worker, unless you invest in, like, Bitcoin. Oh, what are you going to do? Oh, do you have like a trust fund? Does your parents have a trust fund? What do you really do, you rich capitalist? You're just a capitalist exploiter. You're just, what are you going to do besides be a capitalist rotter? You're going to work as a lawyer? What are you going to do working as a lawyer, bro? Are you going to send a bunch of black and brown people to prison for life for petty crimes? Are you going to decide that white people are more privileged than black and brown people, and therefore the white people that go to prison should be treated a little bit better than the black or brown counterparts? Oh, is that what you're gonna do, bro? Yeah, dude. Get off my channel, you fuckface. You're not going to college, dude. You're gonna drop out of college, and you're gonna get a bunch of student loan debt. It's one thing that I can say, I don't have student loan debt. I have not incurred student loan debt. Well, then why are you here right now in my chat? I've been going for 49 hours. You've been here all 49 hours just being a little douchebag. What do you do for a living? What do you do to get money? What do you do for a living? Okay, you're just a nobody, bro. Chauncey Fatsack says, if Chris Chen can get laid, so can I. Are you sure that that's real, dude? Are you sure that's even real? The problem with the creepypasta wikis is they are so much misinformation. Like, how do you know what's real or not? And dude, didn't Chris Chen say that didn't Christian say that he had schizophrenia? So how can you say how can you say that he's really telling the truth or not if he has schizophrenia? It's probably made up shit. But yeah, Rick Perry, you are a liar and you are a bullshit artist, bro. You're full of lies. You just want to promote something that tyrannizes the minds and the souls of men. The church tyrannizes and oppresses the minds of man. Okay? If death is, then I am not. If I am, then death is not. Why should I fear something that doesn't really exist? That is what Epicurus said. Epicurus and Athenagoras said that. Nature's laws are eternal. Nature's laws are absolutely eternal. Okay? Chauncey said that he had his own house at 3 years old. You know what? I had my own house when I was 5. Jaher Gonzalez, I was already a homeowner at the age of 5. And you're 17 and you're still not a homeowner, bro? Where are you at, bro? You're at the bottom of the chain, bitch. Getting it in the ass, like a little bitch. But anyways, yeah. Chauncey says he sells spare parts for ping pong balls. You know what? You know what my job is? I sell spare parts for refrigerators and microwaves. That's how I make my living. That's how I get my extra income. I'm totally not a faceless troll. I'm totally not a faceless troll that's just bullshitting and is always high and drunk 24/7. No, I sell spare parts for refrigerators and microwaves in Belgium. Yeah, I'm so totally not a drunkard. I'm so totally not just a bald, idiot, dumb Belgian retard that takes meth all the time and lives in a trailer park. Oh no. Totally not, dude. Okay, I'm just yeah, I'm just kind of laughing. If you don't get that, I'm just parroting Eric Duchamp. I'm just kind of parroting Eric Duchamp. Why not, dude? Fuck him. You know, Shaggy does not like it when you make fun of him. If you poke fun at Shaggy or Eric Duchamp, they get so insecure, dude. They get so fucking insecure and it's hilarious. Perspicacity was talking about that in one of his streams that him and Surfer did to Shaggy. And it was hilarious, dude. Like, Shaggy reacted like a total absolute psychopath to the fake Shaggy voice. You know, they will act like they have like some kind of base take. It's so hilarious, dude. King of Pole, Shaggy, and PPP and Soberman will act like that they are the smartest people in the universe. They have such base takes. And then if you just, you know, poke a little fun at them, they get so insecure and thin-skinned about it. It's great. Absolutely great. Absolutely great and marvelous. But yeah, I'm not taking advice from... Wait a second. Are you a minor? Hold on a second. Are you another minor? Because, this stream is only for people over 18. Okay, are you actually making that shit up? Or are you being serious? Okay, these streams are only for people over 18. So, if you are under the age of 18, then you don't need to be here. Okay? This is mature adult content. I've said this many times in the past that this is for mature adult audiences only. Okay? I'm talking about issues and stuff that that are for adults and stuff. I'm not making content for kids, okay? The person that's trying to do that is Mormon Shaggy and DJ Axel. Okay, DJ Axel is the guy that wants all the minors to come and watch his streams and watch him pull out his dick and play with it. You know, DJ Axel only wants people under 18 to see him whip out his dick, whip out his Norwegian dingus, and play with it. But all jokes aside, yeah, this is like for adults. Okay, I'm not a pedophile. I don't whip my dick out in front of minors like DJ Axel. Saint Shagster and DJ Axel are the ones that whip out their dicks in front of minors on their streams. And they're the ones that have child pornography on their hard drives. And you know that Axel has lots of CP on his hard drive, dude. Let's just face it. Oh, hey, Rick Perry, what have you done to help the poor and afflicted? You know, Jesus said that you need to take care of the poor. The poor will always be there, and he won't always be. And the first shall be last, and the last shall be first, Rick Perry. So, Rick Perry and Gene Apologetics, what have you been doing to help the poor and the afflicted and the persecuted lately? Haven't you just been using that money to buy Harley Davidson motorcycles? Like a bunch of Harley Davidson motorcycles, and therefore you're not really a Christian, are you, Rick Perry? There are so many... You have a Harley Davidson, Rick Perry. You make home pornography, and you sell it online. That's what you told me. That you have home pornography, and you sell yourself, and you were a gigolo. So, how can you be a eunuch, and also be a gigolo? Uh-oh. Just like that. It's done. You know, Rick Perry, your mind has been shattered. Honestly, Rick Perry, I think that you might be mentally ill because your mind has been shattered. On the one hand, you claim that you can't have any offspring because you're a male eunuch, and then you said that you had a satisfying life being a gigolo. So, how are you going to be a gigolo when you're a eunuch? Can you explain that one? Mind shattered. Alright, gotta pick up the pieces. Rick's brain has blown up like a volcano. His mind has been shattered. You know what? I'm gonna tell you what's going on. Rick Perry and Gene are the ones that have had their minds shattered. They're the ones that are mentally sick and depressed. And they're the ones that need to rely on other people to help fix their mind shatterings. Oh yeah. Booyah! Forge Gang! Alright, so anyway, seriously, dude. Like... Yeah, you know that Axel whips his dick out in front of kids. And that's not a funny thing at all. That's a very disgusting and serious thing. I'm not laughing about that whatsoever. And I'm not making a joke about it. I don't mean to be pretentious about something like that. But yeah, I mean, you know that DJ Axel shows his dick to kids. He also shows his dick to animals too. You know, whenever he can't molest a kid because of his diabetes, if he can't suck their blood because he's a diabetic or molesting kids, then he's doing it to animals. Axel was the one that got Shaggy to fuck his dogs. DJ Axel was the one that literally got Mormon Shaggy into making pedophile jokes and wanting to fuck and molest animals, dude. It's sick. And I don't mean to be pretentious one single bit. I'm not trying to make this into something funny. It's a very serious thing, obviously. Yeah, it's a very serious thing, but I can't help it just to be a bit, stuck up about the whole thing. I mean, when is DJ Axel gonna go to prison? When is Kitty Styles gonna go to prison, you know? Well, then Rick Perry, that just means that you can masturbate. Okay? If you're an upscale courtesan, then that means that your penis works. You feel sexual arousal, which means that you can masturbate and you can have sex with your penis. So you're not a eunuch. So that's another one of your lies that you completely made up on the top of your head in the moment. It's another one of your lies that you've been exposed for. Okay? It's just another one of those things that you lied about. Say what you will about the Amazing Atheist and about Crowd & Tea, but Crowd & Tea and the Amazing Atheist did not lie to their viewers. They didn't lie to their fans about being gay, weird gay people, okay? Because they're libs and they're atheists, okay? You're a Christian, Rick Perry, and you're doing this stuff, okay? You're actually more liberal than Ryan Falk is, okay? That's something. Ryan Falk, of all people, who is an atheist, by the way. Ryan Falk is atheist, and he is more conservative than you are, and you're a Christian, okay? What does that say about you, okay? Who would you trust? What would you trust more? Let me ask you this question. Who would you trust more? Would you trust an atheist that has no values and has a belief system that's not based on values, or would you trust a Christian that has no values and whose religion implies that they must have a set of moral values? Who are you going to trust more, the atheist or the Christian? Okay, think about that. I am so woke that I sleep with my eyes open. Well, yeah, you are more liberal than Ryan Falk. You're actually more liberal. You're even more liberal than Sam Hyde is. Okay? You're more liberal than Sam Hyde and Ryan Falk, and I would even argue that you're even more woke than Chris Chan. That is an accomplishment right there. That is an accomplishment, to be even more woke than Chris Chan. But you know what? Being woke isn't going to feed and alleviate the poor and starving and homeless people. Being woke is not going to fix the infrastructure problems in the first world. Okay, being woke, or being the most woke person of all, is not going to help the abuse that blacks get in prison. And it's not going to deal with, like, the migrant shelters on the border. It's that simple. It's being woke and advocating for wokest stuff isn't going to do a thing. It's not going to change a single thing. The simple fact of the matter is, Rick Perry, is you might be liberal as fuck, but you're still right-wing. You're not left-wing. You're a capitalist and a social democrat pretending to be a leftist. You're virtue signaling to the left while being right and advocating a staunchly conservative pro-establishment platform. Yeah, you see, I figured it out. I have literally said, and I have thought out and said what needed to be said from the beginning. And I was the first person to come out on stream and to say it. And to say it honestly and consistently in a rational and well thought out manner. You want to push a tyranny over the minds and the souls of men. Okay? If death is, I am not. If I am, death is not. How then should I fear something that does not exist? Okay? If God is all-knowing, all advocating, omnipotent, and all-knowing, and can do anything, can be anywhere and do anything at any time, then he can fight evil. he can fight for justice and get rid of all the evil and the ills in the world right now. But yet he does not. Then why call him God? Why call something like that God? Nature can spontaneously fix all the problems and issues without any intervention from the gods. Mother Nature can fix its problems and spontaneously deal with its own things all on its own without any intervention from the gods. Why then should I pray to an oppressive God? What then is the point to even bother to believe in the opium of the people? The opium and the oppression of the masses. The mind slavery, the mind-bending slavery, and the IQ lowering of the masses by the opium of the people. And as you can see, Rick Perry has no answers to anything I just said. And neither does Jeem, neither does Southern Israelite, neither does Reformed Stoic, neither does Mormon Shaggy, neither does Drunken Surfer, and neither does anyone else that I didn't mention. Those very questions, the very same posited questions and ideas of the ancients that they gave, Southern Israelite, Jay Dyer, Reformed Stoic, any kind of random fucking Baptist minister, any kind of random, insert here, insert name here, Catholic priest, all that stuff, they cannot answer that. Nature can spontaneously resolve everything and its own problems without the gods' intervention, Rick Perry. If I am, Rick Perry, death is not. If death is, Rick Perry, then I am not. So then Rick Perry, so then Jeem Apologetics, so then Jay Dyer, so then Southern Israelite, why should I fear something that does not exist? Rick Perry. If the gods are so powerful and so omnipotent, Rick Perry, why do they not fight or subdue evil in the world? Rick Perry, Reformed Stoic, Jay Dyer, and Southern Israelite, and Jeem Apologetics? Why then? And if they cannot do so, if they cannot do it right now in this instant, right here, right now, do it, then why call that God, Rick Perry? Why call that God, Jay Dyer? Why call that God, Reformed Stoic? Why call that God, Southern Israelite? Why call that a God? Rick Perry, why call that a God? Jeem Apologetics, or Jay Dyer and Southern Israelite and Reformed Stoic? Or Mormon Shaggy or Drunken Surfer? There, that is the posited questions. It is just an oppression, an organized apparatus tool to oppress the masses and to keep them from really fulfilling their actual innate talents and potential. It is a repressive measure by people whose institutions supported slavery and human trafficking, and who once had academics that believed that the earth was at the center of the universe and the sun went around the earth, and that the entire universe, the entire cosmos, spontaneously came to be in 6 days. All the galaxies, the local group of galaxies, the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, the Oort cloud, the Kepler belt, the local group of galaxies, the entire observable universe, and all the cosmos beyond, all that light that goes trillions and trillions of light years through space to reach the James Webb Telescope or the Hubble Telescope was made spontaneously in just 6 days. All of that was done in 6 days. That is what Rick Perry is going to tell you. Rick Perry is going to tell you that. Rick Perry is also going to tell you that a brown-skinned Jew from the Middle East is your Savior and Redeemer. And if you do not believe this brown-skinned, Middle Eastern, Arab-looking Jew, Palestinian Jew, you're going to go to hell for all of eternity. Rick Perry will tell you that. White nationalists. You white nationalists in the chat? Right there. Right there. Yep. Right there in my chat. Look at the chat. He's telling you that a Middle Eastern brown-skinned Jew is the only means of which you can be saved from going to hell and burning for all of eternity, suffering horrendous torment and pain by a God that claims to be untouched by sin, that claims to be absolutely all-knowing and perfect, and yet gives you the sole choice of either kissing a brown Jewish ass or going to hell for all of eternity. That is what Rick Perry is telling you to believe. You say that, and yet you claim to actively support an institution that says that in their dogmas. You support a public institution that says that God made you so that you could go to hell for all of eternity and suffer everlasting pain simply because you failed to make a choice. What about all of these illiterate Chinese and African people and all these Indians? What about all the Amazonian Indians that have never heard anything about the gospel? Are they going to go to hell because they weren't able to have access to the gospel? What about all the people that were born before Jesus Christ? But there you go. Your dogmas say that, Rick Perry. Your dogmas say that God made you to burn in hell for all of eternity and suffer in eternal everlasting hellfire. That's your God, Rick Perry. Or that's the institutional background of the organized religion that you uphold. I don't necessarily think that that is what God wants, but that is what your church says, Rick Perry. Your church is telling people that they are going to suffer in pain, that they are going to suffer for all of eternity in hellfire and in pain, men, women, and children too, and children as well, are going to go to hell and suffer for all of eternity because they did not know that Jesus was the Messiah. So there you go. He's not going to answer it because he can't. Rick Perry is not going to answer that because he can't. Jair Gonzalez is not going to answer it because he can't. Jeem is not going to answer it because he can't do it. He's not going to be able to. And these are very simple and very basic questions. So, you know what that means, right? When I posit these questions and you can't answer them, you know what that means, right? Why don't you guess? Take a guess right now in the chat. Because I'll tell you in just a moment. Don't want to take a guess? Okay, I'll do it for you. It means that organized religion was not what Jesus intended. It's because the work of the apostles has nothing at all to do with what the Catholic Church and most of the Baptist and Protestant churches teach. Okay? That's what it means. It means that there is no mention of the Trinity or the immortal soul anywhere in the Bible or the immaterial soul anywhere in the Bible to be found. Jesus did not teach the Trinity. The Trinity was something that was made up in the 3rd century AD. Jesus also did not teach that Mary was immaculately untouched by original sin. That's nowhere to be found in the Bible. It means that the mystery of the Trinity, the immaterial immortal soul, The notion of Mary being untouched by sin, nowhere to be found in the Bible. That was something the church made up in the Middle Ages. So even Christians among themselves, just like Jews and Muslims and Hindus, cannot even agree on all the dogmas and stuff that they themselves have made up to cope for their religion. That right there destroys your argument. Rick Perry's mind has been shattered, everyone. Rick Perry's mind has been shattered to pieces. And he is coping and seething and is frothing in the chat because his mind has been utterly shattered by reality. He cannot face reality beyond his own mere delusions. Okay? What does Catholic canon law teach about people that make home pornography? Ooh, that's a big one. What does the canon law of the church teach about men who have sex with other men and who make home pornography? What does canon law say about men that glorify other men because they favorited an Instagram post and they wear a Muslim medallion? What does canon law say, Rick Perry? What does it say, Rick Perry? You ain't going to answer. You're not going to answer it. But, so be it. I will break and destroy these arguments. I will do it. Give me a second. I want to prove a point. I'm going to log into my Instagram. I'm going to log into Instagram, and he probably deleted it, but I want to make a point. I'm going to show once and for all what I mean. Let's see here. I got to find my Instagram password. Yeah, I logged out of Instagram. I got tired of it. What can I say? He was showing me dick pics, and oh my god, dude, I wanted to block him. I wanted to block him so bad. Fucking hell, dude. But I'll show all of you right now what I'm talking about. After all, let's see here. Where's my Instagram? Okay, I have to find my Instagram page. It may take a while. Okay, there we go. The problem is that I don't know necessarily the email. And I can get through the password stuff. The password isn't really an issue. It's the email address that I'm using. And if he deleted this, that's fine because he admitted it in an earlier stream that Scene Stone thumbed him up. And this is a big deal to him, too. This is like a big fucking deal to this guy. How nice. We got girly gamers, dude. We got girl gamers, bro. Nice. And I need to talk about the Dubhead stuff, too. Yeah, I don't even remember where he posted this shit. But, oh, how nice. He did an Instagram post about me. That's so nice, dude. You made an Instagram post about me because you were seething about something I said on my own stream. Well, yeah, Rick Perry, you are a Malthusianist. That's the one thing that really destroys your credibility, is to call you a Malthusian. You literally are a Malthusian, Rick. And so is Drake Shelton and Jay Dyer. They're Malthusians too. And they support this whole depopulation bullshit agenda too. Here you go. Here's what I was talking about. In case you thought that I was making this up, I wasn't. This is Reverend Frater Vagans. You should be able to see that that is Rick Perry. That's the real Scene Stone. Liked your post. Let's go to his Wikipedia page. Scene Stone is not a Muslim, by the way, but look at this. Oh, but I thought that I was making it all up in my head. Stone with a necklace with the Zulfiqar, the sword of Ali, the sword of all, a symbol of Shia Islam. Stone was a convert to that religion. All right. Let's see what the Ecumenical Church teaches about Islam. This is what the church teaches. No salvation outside the Catholic Church. Here we go. Extra. Ecclesiam nulla salus. What does that mean? What does this mean? Extra. Ecclesiam nulla salus. What could that possibly be? Saint Caprian of Carthage. No one can have God for their father who does not have the church for his mother. De Catholicea Ecclesia Unitate. Unitate. This is what it means, this Latin phrase, extra ecclesiam nulla salus. Outside the church, there is no salvation. There is no salvation outside the Catholic Church. Each one shall be saved by his own righteous. Those who regulated their lives by the law of Moses would in like manner be saved. Since those who did that which is universally, naturally, and eternally good are pleasing to God, they shall be saved through this Christ in the resurrection equally with those righteous men who were before them, namely Noah and Enoch and Jacob and whoever else there be, along with those who have known this Christ. Now the Holy Church universal proclaims that God cannot be truly worshipped, saving within herself, asserting that all they that are without her shall never be saved. Pope Gregory the 16th, 1832, Summo Jugitetur Studio of mixed religious marriages. The Church, at least until the 1980s, John Paul II prohibited mixed religious marriages. No. So, own. That's how you own people, dude. If you're honest and you have integrity and you are consistent with facts and with logic, if you are truly consistent with facts and logic, Rick Perry, you will admit that you are not a Christian. But you won't. And that's fine, because that's what I want you to do. I want you in front of everyone in my chat on my stream to see you for who you actually are. I don't want to kick you or boot you immediately, because I want to make a strong, valid point in front of my audience about what you really are about. Okay? So, Rick Perry, who are you and Gene to tell me that I need to get right with religion when you both do this stuff? And I know that this isn't about Gene, but Gene decided to come in and decided to wiggle around his ass like he knew shit that he didn't. Gene thought that he was going to be the bigger man. He was going to wing around his fat ass thinking that he had something morally inclined to say. And just like you, Rick Perry, he made a fool of himself. You make yourself look like a fool, okay? I do it to laugh and make jokes and stuff, and yes, I can make fun of myself and I can laugh at that. And I expect other people to laugh at me too, because why should I take myself seriously all the time? You don't have to. You don't have to take yourself serious 24/7. You can laugh at yourself, and you can let other people laugh at you, and you can laugh at them. That is what being human is about, okay? It doesn't have to be without jokes, okay? The only problem with Soberman is that he was making jokes about kidnapping kids in Fortnite, okay? And nobody besides him and Mormon Shaggy and DJ Axel thought that that was funny, okay? Those were the only people that thought that that was funny to say. I never thought that that was funny one single bit. I thought that was fucked up to say. And then Soberman tried to twist that and say that I claimed that all jokes are not supposed to be funny. That is truly a cope. That is such an ass pull, if there ever was one. But Rick, you ain't a real one, bro. But yeah. Anyways, if I was president, I would do exactly the sort of things that I say that I would do. And I've made my point. I proved my points. Rick Perry can, this ain't a trial. I'm not a judge. I'm not a lawyer. I'm certainly not pretending at the age of 17 that, I'm going to be an outstanding Harvard lawyer at 17. I know where my life is going to go at 17. Dude, you're going to be 45 and you're going to have tens of thousands of dollars in student loan debt, and you're going to be working at IHOP or at Walmart. You're going to be pulling carts at Walmart, and you ain't going to have an extra cent more than you do now at 45 or at 35. Probably should plan ahead for something more realistic. Plumbers get paid a lot. So do electricians. Why don't you go to college and become a plumber or an electrician? Because at least then you'll actually have a reliable means of an income. And you're not going to be fucking starving at Walmart with a baseless bachelor's degree of law, and incurring hundreds of thousands of dollars of student loan debt. But yeah. Oh, but I just make all this stuff up. And I never prove it a single bit that Rick Perry is friends with Muslims. Rick Perry doesn't like Southern Protestants. Rick Perry, in his mind, Muslims are going to go to heaven, but Southern Protestant Baptists are going to go to hell. That's Rick Perry's mindset. Rick Perry's mindset is Muslims, like Scene Stone, they're going to go to heaven for worshiping Allah, But Drake Shelton is going to go to hell for being a Southern Protestant. And Jay Dyer is going to go to hell because he's an Orthodox Christian. That's what Rick Perry will have you believe. Well, if life is not a competition, why do you need to be a male courtesan? Why do you need to be a sex courtesan then if there's no competition? Surely you could just live like a person in Ecuador. You should be able to live for $5 a week, just like someone in Ghana or in Ecuador. If life is not truly a competition, Rick Perry, then you and I, we can go an entire week without spending more than $5, just like someone in Ecuador and in Ghana, if that is actually true. Okay? Do you not realize how you look in front of my audience right now, Rick Perry? Do you not realize how a big fool you look right now? You just look like a big fool in front of everyone. And I'm not even making any effort. I'm not even having to make a big effort about it. I'm just speaking my mind and you're just looking like a big fool. You're making yourself look like a big fucking fool right now in my chat. How does that feel to know that you look like an idiot right now? Saying stupid stuff in my chat. And maybe in a couple of minutes, Jeem is going to come in here and he's going to say stupid stuff and look like a big fool. A big, insecure, thin-skinned fool as well. Well, you know what, Rick Perry? I believe that you really are a material girl. And just like I believe that Jeem is an Orthodox patriarch. Because you say so. Because you say that you're a material girl. Oh, I really do believe you are. And Jeem is going to say that he is an expert Orthodox scholar. And I'm going to believe that he is an expert Orthodox scholar just because he says that in the chat. Not because he actually did something that would show or accredit the worth of what he claims. Not because he's going to put up evidence to show what he says, but because he's just going to randomly say it. Like an ass clown. But just because he's going to look like an ass clown saying that he's an Eastern Orthodox patriarch or you're a material woman, I'm supposed to believe that. Are you kidding me, dude? Stop pulling this shit out of your ass, bro. And get real. Okay, so how I conclude this is you need to get down to earth, Rick Perry. I don't hate you. I don't hate Jeem. I think that you need to get down to earth, okay? You just said that you're poor. And now you're saying that you're a very big deal. You need to get right with Jesus, Rick Perry. I'm going to be very straight up and blunt with you. You need to get right with God. You need to get right with Jesus Christ. And you actually need to get on your knees and pray for Jesus to be your Lord and Savior. Instead of supporting this scandalous, high profiteering, organized religious nonsense that the Catholic Church teaches. You and Jeem need to get right with God, and the both of you need to admit that you're sinners, and you need to accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior. Just like all the rest of us, Rick Perry. That's what y'all need to do. And on that note, have a good day.